The Galactic Empire had conquered more worlds than anyone could count. Their ships filled the stars like metal storms. Their soldiers were bred for war. Their commanders believed one thing above all else: the Empire never made mistakes. Humans were not considered a threat. In the Empire's massive data archives, humanity was marked as a low-priority species. Divided, emotional, weak, dangerous only in large numbers, and even then barely worth attention. That belief would soon prove fatal. The human escape pod drifted silently near the edge of Imperial space. Its outer hull was burned black, cracked by weapons fire. Warning lights blinked weakly, sending broken signals into the dark. An Imperial patrol cruiser detected it during a routine sweep. Life sign detected, the scanner officer reported. Species? The commander asked, bored. Human, came the reply. The bridge filled with soft laughter. A lone human? The commander said. Retrieve it. This will be quick. The cruiser pulled the pod in with a tractor beam. Robotic arms cut it open. Inside, they found a single human soldier. He was unconscious. Blood stained his uniform. His breathing was slow but steady. One arm was badly injured, the bone barely held together by a simple field wrap. He looked small, weak, pathetic. This is what the humans send to war, one guard mocked. The commander waved a hand. Chain him. Take him to the holding deck. No deep scans were run. No background checks were done. No one asked where he came from. He was listed in the system as human or prisoner. That was mistake number one. The soldier woke up to pain. Cold metal pressed against his wrists and ankles. Gravity felt heavier than it should. His head throbbed. The air smelled sharp and artificial. He did not panic. His eyes opened slowly. Calm. Focused. The room was circular, made of dark alloy. Energy restraints glowed faintly around his limbs. 2 alien guards stood near the door, tall and armored, their weapons powered and ready. One guard leaned closer. It's awake. The other tilted its head. It doesn't look afraid. The human said nothing. He tested his fingers, just slightly. Felt the restraints. Felt the timing of the energy pulses. Felt the vibration in the floor. He listened. The ship hummed. Systems cycled. Somewhere above him, engines adjusted power. The soldier memorized everything. Hours passed. Or maybe days. Time felt different under artificial gravity. The Empire believed isolation broke prisoners. Silence, darkness, hunger. Most species screamed within the first cycle. The human did not. When guards entered to check on him, they expected pleading. They found silence. His eyes followed them. Not with fear. With calculation. This one is broken, a guard said. Shock it. The pain surged through his body like fire. His jaw tightened. He did not scream. That unsettled them. The prisoner was moved to a larger prison station orbiting a conquered moon. The station held thousands of captives from dozens of species. Each one was catalogued, tested, and crushed. The human was placed in a high-gravity cell. The Empire believed humans were physically weak. Increasing gravity would break his bones, tear his muscles, force submission. Instead, the human adapted. He struggled at first. Anyone would. But then his breathing changed. His stance adjusted. His body learned the weight. He collapsed once. Then stood again. The guards took note. Human endurance is higher than expected, one officer said. Still insignificant, another replied. He is alone. They did not know how dangerous that word was. During feeding cycles, the human finally spoke. One guard slid a nutrient tray through the slot. The soldier looked at it, then up at the guard. Who's in charge here? He asked. The guard laughed loudly. You are a prisoner. You don't ask questions. The human nodded slowly. All right. That was all he said. But the question stayed. The Empire began interrogations. They demanded information. Military locations. Fleet numbers. Weak points in human defenses. The soldier listened patiently. Then he smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "You're asking the wrong questions," he said. The interrogator leaned forward. "Explain." The human shrugged carefully against the restraint. "You should be asking how fast your station can burn." The room went silent. Then laughter erupted. "Humans lie when afraid," the interrogator said. "Continue." The soldier leaned back. "I'm not afraid." That was mistake number 2. Strange things started happening on the station. A door locked for 2 seconds longer than normal. A camera blinked off, then on again. A guard missed a shift change by exactly 30 seconds. Small things. Too small to worry about. The Empire ignored them. The human noticed all of it. On the 3rd interrogation cycle, a junior officer reviewed the prisoner's file. It was incomplete. Strange gaps. Redacted markers where information should have been. The officer frowned. "Why is his origin missing?" she asked. "Low priority," her superior replied. "Human worlds are irrelevant." She hesitated, then ran a deeper scan. The system paused, froze, then displayed a single highlighted entry. Nationality: American. The officer's skin went cold. She had heard the stories. Old stories. Stories the Empire buried. Stories about humans who planned for capture. Humans who turned prisons into weapons. Humans who never fought alone, even when they were. She looked up at the human through the barrier. He met her eyes, and for the first time since his capture, he smiled again. Slow. Confident. Like a man who knew something everyone else did not. The alarms had not started yet, but the countdown had already begun. The junior officer closed the data screen with shaking hands. She did not report the update right away. Instead, she watched the human through the observation barrier. He sat on the cold floor, back straight despite the heavy gravity. His breathing was slow, controlled, like someone resting, not imprisoned. American. The word echoed in her mind. Old Imperial War records spoke of them in careful language. Not because Americans were the strongest humans, but because they were the most dangerous when cornered. She swallowed and sent the report up the chain. The command chamber reacted with disbelief. "Impossible," one commander said. "Humans barely understand space warfare." Another leaned forward. "Americans are still human." "Yes," an older officer replied quietly. "But not like the others." Silence followed. The Empire did not fear humans, but it respected history. And history remembered Americans. Interrogations resumed with new intensity. The Empire wanted answers before problems grew. The human was brought into a white-lit chamber. Energy restraints locked him in place. Gravity increased slightly, just enough to cause pain. He adjusted again. The lead interrogator stepped forward. "State your rank." The human looked up. "No." A shock ran through his body. He grunted but stayed silent. "Your unit." Another shock. The human exhaled slowly. "You're still asking the wrong questions." The interrogator slammed a claw onto the table. "You are in no position to threaten us." The human met its gaze. "I'm not threatening you." He paused. "I'm warning you." The interrogator leaned closer. "You are one soldier. Alone. Captured. You have already lost." The human smiled faintly. "Then why are you rushing?" The room froze. The interrogator straightened. "Explain." "You increased gravity," the human said calmly. "You shortened interrogation cycles. You pulled senior officers into a low-level prisoner review." He tilted his head slightly. "You're scared." That was when the interrogator struck him across the face. Blood hit the floor. The human spat and looked back up. Still calm. Still watching. The Empire decided on a different approach. Psychological pressure. They showed him recordings of destroyed human ship, burning colonies, screaming civilians. "We will do this to your world," the officer said. "Unless you cooperate." The human watched quietly. When the recording ended, he sighed. "You should have studied us better," he said. The officer sneered. "We have." The human shook his head. No. You studied numbers, not people. He leaned forward as far as the restraints allowed. We don't surrender because things look bad. We surrender when the mission is done. The officer laughed. What mission? The human smiled again. You'll find out. More strange events followed. A supply drone took the wrong route. A guard console rebooted without command. Security doors required manual override more often. Nothing serious. Nothing obvious. The station commander dismissed it as system age. The human listened from his cell. Every sound. Every delay. Every mistake. The junior officer returned to his file. She noticed something else now. Training markers. Survival codes. Psychological resistance scores that went beyond normal limit. One line stood out. Prepared for capture. Her chest tightened. That meant something very specific. It meant the human expected this. She requested permission to move him to a deeper containment level. The request was denied. He is still only one human, Command replied. We control the station. The officer stared at the screen. She whispered to herself, that's what they always think. The human was allowed a short walk cycle under guard. The Empire believed showing limited freedom gave prisoners false hope. The human used it to count steps. He noted guard spacing. He memorized camera angles. He watched reflections in the metal walls. A guard noticed his eyes moving. Stop looking around, the guard warned. The human nodded. Habit. From what? Winning, the human replied. The guard tightened his grip on the weapon. That cycle, the station lost power for exactly 4 seconds. Emergency lights flashed. Then everything returned to normal. Command logged it as a minor fluctuation. The human smiled in his cell. 4 seconds was enough. The junior officer confronted her superior. This prisoner is dangerous, she said. We should transfer him or eliminate him. The superior scoffed. You're letting stories scare you. Those stories are written in blood, she replied. He waved her off. Return to duty. She hesitated, then obeyed. The human lay back against the wall. His injured arm still hurt, but pain was familiar. He focused on something else. Timing. Humans didn't beat empires by strength. They beat them by patience, by preparation, by turning arrogance into a weapon. On the next interrogation, the lead officer tried a final tactic. Your people won't come for you, the officer said. We intercepted no rescue signals. The human chuckled softly. That's because you don't understand how we call for help. The officer leaned closer. Explain. The human's eyes locked onto theirs. If you had detected it, he said, you'd already be running. The officer stepped back, uneasy. End interrogation, they ordered. As the human was dragged away, the junior officer watched from behind the glass. For a brief moment, the human turned his head. Their eyes met. He gave a small nod. Not fear. Not anger. Understanding. She realized then that the Empire was already behind, and the human was exactly where he wanted to be. Far beyond the station, deep in silent space, a signal traveled. Short. Encrypted. Oh. Human. The Empire never noticed it. But someone else did. The signal left the station unnoticed. It was small. Weak. Buried inside normal system noise. To the Galactic Empire, it meant nothing. To humans, it meant everything. The human soldier returned to his cell without resistance. Guards tightened security. Extra cameras activated. Patrols doubled. The Empire believed pressure would crush him. Instead, it sharpened him. He sat on the floor, eyes closed, breathing steady. In his mind, the station took shape. Corridors. Power nodes. Vent paths. Control hubs. He did not need weapons. He needed time. And the Empire was giving him plenty. The junior officer could not sleep. She replayed old war records in her mind. Each one followed the same pattern. First, the Americans were underestimated. Then, they adapted. Then, everything collapsed. She accessed restricted archives. The file opened slowly, warning symbols flashing. Human Conflict Doctrine, American Variant. Her hands trembled as she read. Operate independently. Assume capture. Turn enemy systems inward. Delay until support arrives. Never surrender mentally. She looked at the prisoner's cell number. Her fear deepened. The next interrogation was different. No shouting. No pain. The interrogator spoke calmly. Why do Americans resist when defeat is certain? The human opened his eyes. Because defeat is rarely certain. You are outnumbered. So were we on our homeworld, the human replied. You are outgunned. So were we in our first wars. You are alone. The human smiled. No. I'm just early. The interrogator changed tactic. What makes Americans different from other humans? The human leaned back. We plan for the worst. The Empire plans for victory, the interrogator said. That's the problem, the human replied. Silence filled the room. Small failures increased. A training drone fired late. A supply lift stalled between decks. One security door failed to seal during lockdown drills. Command issued maintenance warnings. Still no one connected the event. Except one officer. The junior officer requested transfer off station. Request denied. She began quietly adjusting reports, delaying responses, rerouting maintenance crews away from certain areas. She told herself she was preventing panic. But deep down, she knew the truth. She was buying time. The human noticed. A delay here. A blind camera there. He did not smile. He respected it. The Empire finally decided to move him. Containment level black. Deep inside the station. No signals. No access. The transfer team arrived heavily armed. The human stood calmly as restraints were applied. One guard sneered. Enjoy the dark. The human nodded. I will. They did not understand. Darkness was where Americans trained. As they moved through the corridor, the lights flickered. Just once. The guards froze. Then continued. The human counted. 3, 2, 1. The station trembled. Not from an explosion. From correction. Thrusters fired without command. Gravity shifted briefly. Then stabilized. Emergency alerts filled command channels. Report. Unknown system override. Manual controls unresponsive. The station commander slammed a fist down. Lock down the prisoner. Too late. The transport corridor doors sealed behind the escort team. Ahead, doors opened. The guards shouted. Weapons raised. The human moved. Fast. Precise. He used their weight. Their panic. Their mistakes. No wasted motion. No hesitation. When the doors reopened, only the human walked out. He picked up a dropped access tool. Not a weapon. Better. Alarms wailed now. Red lights flooded the station. Command ordered full security response. The human disappeared into maintenance shaft. Maps filled command screens. They meant nothing. The junior officer watched the chaos unfold. Her console flashed with warnings. She whispered, "It started." She pulled up an old emergency protocol. One the Empire had never used. Containment failure, human origin. She activated it. Systems hesitated. Then responded. The human reached a junction. 2 paths. He chose the one least guarded. Because humans expected resistance. Command finally ordered lethal force. Terminate the human. Troops flooded corridors. Drones deployed. The station felt smaller. More fragile. The human paused briefly. He touched the wall. Closed his eyes. Then spoke softly. Phase 1 complete. Far away, the signal reached its destination. Human ships powered up. Orders spread. Quiet. Fast. No celebration. No speeches. Just action. Back on the station, the junior officer made her choice. She locked her door. She erased her logs. She rerouted one final system. Then waited. The Empire had wanted a prisoner. What they got was a lesson. And lessons from Americans were never gentle. The station was no longer calm. Alarms screamed through every corridor. Red lights flashed without rhythm. Doors opened and closed on their own, ignoring command input. The Galactic Empire had lost control. And they knew exactly why. "Find the human," the station commander roared. Security teams rushed through corridors, weapons raised, armor sealed. Combat drones floated ahead, scanning for heat, movement, sound. They found nothing. The human moved like a shadow. He used maintenance tunnels meant for machines, not soldiers. He crawled through narrow spaces, climbed vertical shafts, and dropped into places no guard expected. Every step was planned, every breath controlled. The Empire attempted a full station lockdown. Bulkheads slammed shut, power rerouted, internal weapons activated. For a moment, command believed they had trapped him. Then the lights went out. Emergency power kicked in, but only partially. Gravity flickered. Some decks went heavy. Others went light. Soldiers stumbled. Drones crashed into walls. Weapons fired by mistake. Fear spread faster than orders. "This is impossible," one officer whispered. "No," another replied quietly. "This is human." The junior officer watched from her console. She had stopped pretending this was a malfunction. She knew better. Americans did not fight like the Empire. They did not seek glory. They sought control. And they took it piece by piece. The human reached a secondary command relay. He paused, listening. Footsteps echoed far away. Too far. He opened the panel and began working. Simple tools. Old methods. Empire systems were advanced. But advanced systems trusted themselves too much. The human taught them doubt. Across the station, screens flickered. Messages appeared. Short. Clear. Human. Evacuate non-combatants. Command stared in shock. "He's broadcasting," someone shouted. "Jam it." They tried. The message kept repeating. The station commander slammed his claws into the console. "Who does he think he is?" The answer came from an older officer. "A soldier," they said. "Doing his job." Panic reached the prison levels. Captive species saw doors unlock. Cells opened. Confusion turned into chaos. Prisoners ran. Guards fired. Order collapsed. The Empire had built the station to control many species. They never planned for one human to free them all. The junior officer received a priority message. Containment failure spreading. Advise. She typed slowly. Recommend evacuation. There was a pause. Then the reply came. Denied. She closed her eyes. Too late. The human watched the chaos from a maintenance balcony. He did not smile. This was not victory. This was preparation. Empire fleets moved into defensive positions around the station. Command feared an external attack. They were right. But not yet. Inside the station, elite troops finally cornered the human. He stood at the end of a long corridor. No cover. No weapons. Just him. The commander's voice echoed over speakers. "Surrender now. You will be terminated." The human raised his hands slowly. Soldiers tightened their aim. Then he spoke. "You should have evacuated." "What?" the commander demanded. The human looked up at the ceiling. The station shuddered. Explosions echoed far below. Not from weapons. From systems failing. Power cores overloaded. Cooling arrays shut down. The station screamed. The human ran. Not away. Forward. As gravity shifted again, soldiers lost balance. Shots missed. The human slid through smoke and sparks, vanishing into another shaft. The junior officer's console lit up with an incoming signal. External. Human. She stared at it. Her hands shook. She accepted. A calm voice spoke. "Status." She swallowed. "Station compromised." "Empire in panic." The voice paused. "Extraction window?" She looked at the collapsing system map. 6 minutes. Maybe less. "Understood," the voice replied. "Hold." The Empire realized the truth. This was not an escape. It was a delay. The human was not running. He was buying time. Command ordered full retreat. Fleets pulled back. Too slow. Space rippled beyond the station. Human ships emerged. Silent, precise, deadly. The station commander watched the sensors. Human fleet signatures. Old fear returned. Americans, he whispered. Inside the station, the human reached an airlock. He checked his injured arm. Still working. Good enough. He activated a beacon. Short, bright, human. The junior officer ran. Not from fear. From hope. She reached the evacuation bay as human boarding teams cut through hull plating like paper. The Empire had built walls. Humans brought doors. As the first human soldier stepped onto the station, the trapped man finally allowed himself to breathe. Reinforcements had arrived. Phase 2 complete. The Galactic Empire would survive this day. But it would never forget it, because now it remembered an old truth. Capturing a human was dangerous. Capturing an American was suicide. Human soldiers moved through the station with calm speed. They did not rush. They did not panic. They moved like they had trained for this moment their entire lives. Because they had. The Galactic Empire tried to respond. Orders were shouted. Fleets repositioned. Defense turrets activated. It did not matter. Human boarding teams hit key systems first. Communications went dark. Weapon controls locked. Navigation froze. The Empire's proud station became a blind, silent giant. The captured human watched from the airlock as his people arrived. Armored figures moved past him, weapons raised, eyes sharp. One of them stopped. "You look like hell," the soldier said. The captured man smiled weakly. "You should see the other guy." They clasped arms briefly. No speeches. No celebration. Mission first. Empire troops tried to regroup. Elite units pushed toward the command center. They were stopped by doors sealing in front of them. Then behind them. Gravity increased suddenly. Human soldiers appeared from above and below. The fight was short. Not because humans were stronger. Because they were smarter. The station commander attempted a final broadcast. "This is the Galactic Empire," he declared. "Cease all action or be destroyed." The response came instantly. A human officer's voice, calm and clear. "This station is no longer under your control." The commander shouted, "You are outnumbered." The reply was simple. "Then you shouldn't have started this." Across the station, prisoners from dozens of species were being escorted to safety. Human soldiers moved them carefully, protected them, fed them. The prisoners watched in disbelief. They had known empires. They had known conquerors. They had never known humans. The junior officer stood near a blast door, watching humans work. A human medic treated her injured arm without question. "Why?" she asked quietly. The medic looked up. "Because it's right." That answer confused her more than any weapon. The captured American was finally taken to a secure area. Doctors examined him quickly. His injuries were serious, but survivable. One officer leaned close. "You held long enough," she said. "Good work." He nodded. Never doubted it. The Empire attempted to flee. Their fleets turned away from the station. Human ships did not chase. They did not need to. The message had already been delivered. In the command chamber, the station commander stared at the ruined displays. Years of control, gone. By one human. And those who followed him. Human engineers began shutting the station down safely. No explosions. No destruction for pleasure. Only removal of threat. The station would not be used again. A final message was sent from the station. Not a threat. A warning. Broadcast across known space. Humanity does not seek war. But we finish what is started. The Empire listened. And for the first time in centuries, it learned fear. Not loud fear. Quiet fear. The kind that stays. The captured human was loaded onto a medical ship. As the hatch closed, he looked back at the station. He felt no pride. Only relief. The mission was done. Human ships jumped away one by one, leaving silence behind. The Galactic Empire would rewrite its laws, its training, its warnings. New rules were added to every military database. Do not capture humans. Do not provoke Americans. Do not underestimate patience, because patience was humanity's sharpest weapon. Far away, on a human world, reports were filed. Names were classified. Details locked. Only one line remained visible. Mission status, success. The galaxy would talk about this day. They would not remember explosions. They would remember control. They would remember restraint. They would remember that one human had changed everything. And somewhere in the dark between stars, the Galactic Empire understood the truth at last. It had never captured a prisoner. It had activated a response. The war did not spread. That surprised everyone. The Galactic Empire had expected revenge, retaliation, fear-driven strikes against human worlds. None came. Instead, the humans disappeared, and that silence frightened the galaxy more than any fleet. The damaged prison station was left empty. Its systems were powered down. Its weapons disabled. Its prisons opened. News spread quickly. One human. One capture. One station lost. Across thousands of systems, leaders paused and reconsidered their plans. The Galactic Empire gathered its highest council. Commanders stood in silence as reports were read. Casualties were listed. Systems compromised. Reputation shattered. Then came the final summary. Cause of failure. Human prisoner, American. No one argued. Ancient records were reopened. Stories once dismissed as myths were confirmed. Humans who fought while wounded. Humans who planned for defeat and used it as a weapon. Humans who did not need permission to act. The Council realized something too late. Humans were not chaotic. They were prepared. New laws were written that day. Not spoken publicly. Not announced with pride. But copied into every military database. Do not capture humans. Avoid conflict with American forces. If engagement is unavoidable, withdraw early. These laws were not strategy. They were survival. The junior officer stood before an imperial tribunal. She expected punishment. Instead, she received silence. An elder commander finally spoke. You delayed the human. She nodded. You saved this empire from total destruction, the commander said. She was dismissed, promoted quietly, and transferred far from the borders. On a human medical station, the American soldier woke slowly. White lights, soft voices, gravity that felt right. He turned his head and winced. A doctor smiled. Welcome back. He exhaled. Took you long enough. The doctor laughed softly. You held them perfectly. He recovered quietly. No medals. No speeches. No public records. His name never reached the news. That was how humans preferred it. A briefing was held behind closed doors. Human leaders listened. They nodded. They adjusted defense plans. They sent quiet messages to allies. Not warnings. Reassurance. Other species noticed something strange. Human trade ships were escorted more often. Human colonies expanded calmly. Human fleets trained near borders. Not aggressively. Carefully. Like guardians. The story of the captured humans spread anyway. It changed with each telling. Some said he destroyed the station alone. Others said he commanded the fleet. Humans did not correct them. They did not need to. The Galactic Empire changed its tone. Negotiations replaced threat. Borders stabilized. Expansion slowed. Because now the Empire understood something fundamental. Humans did not need an empire. They were one. Years later, in a distant star system, an Imperial patrol detected a human ship. The captain hesitated. Orders were clear. Do not interfere, he said. The ship passed in silence. On Earth, the American soldier returned to a normal life. Or as normal as possible. Training. Teaching. Preparing others. Because humans believed in one rule. If one soldier could change history, many could protect it. The galaxy would never forget this lesson. It was written into history without flames. Without conquest. With precision. The Galactic Empire had captured a human soldier. They had believed him weak. They had believed him alone. They had believed him beaten. They were wrong on all counts. Because humanity fights best when underestimated. And Americans? They turn mistakes into lessons. And lessons into legends. Humanity, friendly by choice, deadly by necessity,